Looks like Timaeus isn't here today. Customers? Oh, pardon me. Are you looking for Timaeus? No. Just strange for him to not be around. Paimon always sees him standing here. I see. He was called away by Albedo a little while ago. I was called over to attend to the store. I'm Sucrose, Albedo's assistant. If you have any alchemy-related queries, you could always ask me. I do my best to... Huh? My apologies. I don't get out too often. I'm usually in the laboratory, where there aren't many others to talk to. If you need any help, just call my name. If not, I'll be... Thanks. No worries. We're all clued up on the basics of alchemy. Hey, aren't you the legendary traveler? The one who repelled I've heard so many stories about you. Always want... Sorry. Still, you'd definitely be able to help Albedo. There's that name again! Albedo! Is he also an alchemist in Mondstadt? Apologies. I never introduced him. Albedo is the Knights of Favonia's chief alchemist. He's also Timaeus and my teacher. But Paimon's only ever seen Timaeus teaching alchemy. So yes, he's dedicated himself to investigating the truth of this world. And has made... We often get alchemists coming to Mondstadt from all over Teyvat, seeking his help. They say that the subtlest of guidance from Mr. Albedo helped... Wow! Still, it seems that he's encountered a problem in his research recently. Every time I see him, he has a concerned look. I'm sure that Albedo is a true gentleman. He'll be sure to pay you back in equal measure for helping him out. I don't see why not. Testing the limits of living beings' capabilities? Albedo and I'm afraid you'll have... Sorry. Hey, stop! Sucrose is a whole lot less nervous once she gets talking about alchemy and research, huh? Anyway, let's go and look for Albedo.
So soon.
Sister Rosaria! So here you are! Choir practice is about to...
I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing. I've got more important matters to it.
But this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all sisters will be present.
Hopes? That's odd, because I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job.
I'm...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not find it the least bit odd?
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony. Who knows? Maybe...
Huh? Well, that can't be. People aren't like that.
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Don't fret, nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up, but if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going. Seems like that nun's an expert in making people...
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you eavesdropping?
We better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain.
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where, and you think I'm...
Wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering so quietly.
And as for this outlander you seem to be the honorary knight that saved us from storm terror. Well then, given your status, I won't press you on your reasons for eavesdropping. Otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested...
What? Do the nuns of Mondstadt have the authority to arrest?
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't...
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains? If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting his tracks. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm. Let's hope they're still there.
So, are you also looking for him?
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be vigilant. I couldn't care what you think.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks. They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm all right. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Seems like there's more to being a nun in the Favonius Church than Paimon realized. Let's dance! Is that Albedo? Why would he hang around a place like this?
The word on the street is he loves sketching. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Sketches everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilly Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them. Enough talk. Let's take them out of the picture first.
Who are you? Why did you thank the gods I'd already completed my sketch? Would have been ashamed to leave these particular hilly trails unfinished.
What's up with sketching hilly churls? What makes them so
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my sketch, it may give you a clue.
Wow.
You can find these hilly trails anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and the cyclical...
Hold your horses. Something... We found your man. I'm headed back.
What? Don't you have any questions for him? Hey! What a weirdo.
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. And I didn't have time to thank her. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you were looking for me?
Mm-hmm. We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt talking. I've heard a bit of everything. I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You can... Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think my research would benefit... Forgive me. This must be confusing. Where should I begin? The essence of life?
Whoa, whoa.
For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method I'm talking about has produced no results. It's like you, in that it hails from another world, helping it to grow, to bloom.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out...
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known world. But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way.
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
It's possible. But I will do everything in my control to ensure your safety. Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute...
Disappear!
Has a question. After the seed sprouts, will it grow into...
I don't know. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would, after awakening, even creation.
No! Paimon's got a brain! But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it was you were saying?
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, how you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. I've got a few questions in that regard. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth... Fascinating. And this floating child is... connected to your body in some way?
What a stupid question. And another anything.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder, did Paimon guide the elemental power to you? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Spring.
Hey!
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in the research, it seems that only Firstly, let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using whatever method comes most.
Huh?
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
Slimes! Slimes are fine.
Well,
No escape!
Windblade!
Go, go! I bet you can.
Disappear!
No escape!
Windblade!
great work. Did you feel anything? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally,
Internal flow?
it's very simple. I can use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Sounds good.
Don't worry.
And
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made... Well, it's not that... Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the test is missing a catalyst. It's a type of ore known as star silver, but unfortunately not all of it is suitable. I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the way. I'll point out any likely contenders. All going to plan, we should be able to begin concocting the potion when we get to the...
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns, but see, let's keep our eye. Ready, go! Let's dance!
From whence you came! With the wind!
do for catalyst purposes.
Twin blade!
This one. Usable with a bit of polish.
Not so hard! I'll race you there! Let's dance!
What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way. This is my campsite. I've added the materials we collected to the concoction. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board.
Whoa!
I wouldn't call them results. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the following this
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. A cryoregis in that sense.
yes, sir.
After all, we've got our primary data already. If it turned out that he did have...
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited. Speaking of data,
Great, I'll leave you to it. Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. If all goes well, I'll hand it... in line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face. You said you tried some already. You sure it was...
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, a repelling reaction but if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort. Once the flow is complete...
So you knew you'd be...
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig. But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, it would be wrong of me to place that risk onto you. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is... Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and if people are the same, they can... When you're sick, a doctor, but a peculiar person. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregisvine, or an Eye of the Storm. Have I explained it clearly? And to sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Going forward, you can use your elemental power with Timaeus. The results of the new experiment are out.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. You gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limits. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me. But
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter, I'd like your research at the fore as opposed to my...
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory to all.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a suck-up. What?
Before we can proceed with our research, if you're interested, why not have a look around? It...
Here comes Albedo. Let's go see him.
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting? Not to worry. Well, on with the research. There may be significant difference. Take Tevat, for example, but worlds may well exist. So, leaving elements to one side, I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. No. You shan't be required to exert quite so much effort this time around. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it. That was your best effort?
What's with the disappointment?
Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such. Rather, I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with... Anyway, why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat? I've just finished preparing the recipe.
Cooking?
Not only is this recipe a staple for me...
That does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves.
I'll leave you to it then, if there's anything left over.
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem. How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food?
That was... An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. As far as the proliferation unless...
We just didn't know how to...
Not to worry. And here's your portion. Enjoy.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and your safety during the whole experiment. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong.
Hey! You were being nice, but you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon... And you're right, we are good...
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. There are all manner of alchemical items here. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me. Animal crystal fly elemental extract and
Paimon's barely finished eating and you want us to...
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. If you had, say, superpower, like night vision or vibratory, I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking.
So, guess we'd better take a look. Oh, yeah! This must be electrohypostasis powder. Animo Crystal Fly can only be Animo Elemental Energy.
Goodness. You managed to find... I'm wondering... This elemental site...
Yep.
Unfortunately, though elemental only a never-before-seen...
You mean?
Don't be this... I have... Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. Our research on your identity as one of us is just beginning. In essence, looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing? And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, so what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million fragments? Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test.
Still in one piece! Good thing the bio's so strong.
Windblade!
You...
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is. Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative analysis.
The opposite side of the lake. So...
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might... No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. Then if you would...
Wait a minute! While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing... emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Great work. I've never... Your reputation precedes you, traveler. The data...
But you followed us the whole way without breaking...
Me? Actually, I used alchemy to cheat a... If it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect you, if the natural laws of Tavad do affect you, then the innumerable possibilities that this could present, the
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few unusual gold, petrified trees, a sun 8 times the size, the essence of the investigative I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, All these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessed.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to sketch those hilly churls?
Precisely. To quote my...
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be like...
Of course not. You have been of great assistance to me. Now, before we head back to the campsite, follow me. There are some other ruins nearby. I imagine you must have encountered... I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test if you're capable. I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with your finding. There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. After completion, as with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything I tried and tested. So, let's see you in action. Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Go, go, Baron Bunny! No one escapes my sight!
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out. Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look. What's this? To the best of my knowledge, there's still a lot to learn. Let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in greater detail after our...
Seems like if you want the reward, you got...
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Paimon's kind of looking... Unless you can think...
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is...
You!
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything that you and Albedo... I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor. Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous potions? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive.
Listen, sister. Your guard's so high you can't even see over the top of it.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I understand him a little better than you, Outland. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has transformed you...
No way! Paimon would have sensed it. And anyway, he didn't even use any alchemy.
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential threat back into...
So, what are you gonna do?
I've gotta hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that nothing you came into contact with is dangerous. I've investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda are these symbols.
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. Not to mention, but for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. Now then, all things considered, which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd...
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that. Huh.
You're back. Good time. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back? Time for the results. But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is...
You couldn't tell that just by... We spent all...
Please, I understand that this may have seemed... Have you ever considered that the world of Tevat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders? I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar. But after imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
The transition from nothing into something is not nurturing otherworldly life.
Paimon thought, with all our efforts, it might have bloomed...
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. A short life can be well lived. So, do you understand what I meant about us
Don't be... Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower. I mean, at the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountain. In the future, if the need arises, can I salute? Well, glad I can count on you. I made a point throughout of telling him how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? Those born of Earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of... If, one day, I lose control, destroy Mondstadt, destroy everything, can I rely on you to stop me?